Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I have an interesting video for you. Today I want to talk about Alone. I want to talk about Season 3. And I'd like to talk about episode number 8. So if you haven't seen that episode, please feel free to turn this video off right now. It will contain massive spoilers. This was a very exciting episode, and I think this is going to be an exciting video. A lot of things happened. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So it starts off, there's a quote on the screen, and it says, "We are all sentenced to solitary confinement inside our own skins for life." This is a quote by Tennessee Williams. Day 64, 10:14 in the morning. We're talking about Fowler. There's 5 people left. So he opens up the door on his shelter and he sees snow on the ground. From my point of view as a viewer watching the show, it looked like they had somewhere between 1 and 3 inches of snow. So they had a decent little covering. And Fowler's real positive. He goes out to his pier that he built, and that thing is solid. It looks good. I mean, he put like a railing on it. It looks really cool. And he's just kind of chilling out on that pier, just enjoying the view of the lake and the snow, and he's looking at the mountains, and he's seeing the snow caps, you know, on the mountains. And the snow, if you look at the mountain, the height of the mountain, the snow is coming down like halfway down the mountain. So it's really beautiful. And then there's an annotation on the screen, and it says Patagonia averages between 4 to 6 feet of snow in the winter time. Now I keep looking down because I'm looking at my notes here. And he said that it reminds him of the winters back home. He says it's going to be a good day. Again, he has a positive outlook today. His mindset is good. His mind's sharp. He's positive. And I was happy to see that because I really like Fowler. And then he decides to make a snowman in memory of his daughter. Not that she passed or anything like that, but he misses her. So he made a snowman, and he put a fish head on the snowman for the hat. And what does he do? He takes his slingshot, and on the second shot he nails that thing. Pretty cool scene. So let's move forward. Day 64 still. Now pause for just a minute, folks, and think about that. Day 64. So these participants on the show have been out. You got to understand this on this episode, and for the whole show, to be honest with you, they've been out here for over 2 months in these conditions. It's been cold. So if you stop right now, pause this video and go walk outside and just stand out there, you're going to want to go back in where it's nice and warm. Let's not forget that these people have been out there in these conditions for 64 days. Okay, it's a little after noon, and Dave, we're talking about Dave, there's 5 people left. He said that he had dreams all night about eating cheese. Must be a Packers fan, right? And said that he was hanging out with Jose. Jose was the one on season 2 that made a boat. Really good guy. And he made the fire blower thing. Then there's an annotation on the screen, and it says Jose Amado was the second runner-up on season 2 of Alone. So Dave's happy about the snow. He says it will make fishing worse, but the trapping and tracking abilities will get better. You know, he'll be able to see tracks in the snow and things like that. Animals are going to be colder, and they're going to be moving more, maybe, and in hopes of snaring or something like that. So he talks about his energy going up and down. You know, he's having surpluses of energy and deficits of energy, and he says it's crazy. So he decides to go fishing. He says that it amazes him how much he thinks about food. And then there's another annotation on the screen, and it says a mental fixation on food might be early symptoms of starvation. We all know that, though. They've been out here 64 days and they've had minimal calories. And then he says, and I'm going to quote him here, he says, you get that food is life out here. He said he feels like his body is deteriorating. He says that he looks like an anorexic. And then he sits down by a fire in his shelter to boil water. And I noticed something. He had a tea kettle. It looks like it could be cast iron type tea kettle or metal, definitely. And I want to tell you something. When he did his video of the 10 items that he chose a 4-quart stainless steel fry pan. Remember that he got from Goodwill or whatever it was that he said? And now he's got a tea kettle. So my big question on me is, where did he get the tea kettle? That's a big deal in a survival situation or on a show like this. So we're moving forward. We're on day 64 still. A little after 3 o'clock. We're talking about Callie. 5 people left. She has on every layer that she brought with her, every layer of clothing. She's going to go out for a winter wonderland walk. I really like Callie. She's cool. She said she's warm. She said it's beautiful. It's so peaceful out here. And she says that her spider bites are almost gone, almost totally healed. And the glands are still swollen, but they've gone down every day. And then she throws a snowball at the camera and misses, of course. It was cool. And then she falls down like in the snow and makes a snow angel. I mean, she's running around like a kid, just enjoying life. You know, she's just loving it. She loves the snow, and then it turns on to another scene where she's in her shelter, boiling water, and she says that she thinks she can win this. It ain't over yet. She says, I'm starting to feel a winding down. And that was the first kind of glimpse that we had, well, other than the spider bite, of her mentioning something like that. And I noticed something. She made a cool dream catcher outside of her shelter. Let's move forward. Day 66. We're talking about Dave again. It's a little after 1:45 in the afternoon. 5 people left. So he decides that he's going to take his shirt off and show the viewers how much weight he's lost. And he looks very thin. Very thin. You know, rock climbers, for the most part, are normally naturally kind of thin to be better climbers. But he's really thin. I mean, skin and bones. And then an annotation comes on the screen and it says, Dave has lost nearly 40 pounds. Wow, that's my thoughts. And then I do a little quick calculation of math and I think 66 days divided by 40 pounds, 1.65 pounds a day on average that he's lost. That is crazy. But honestly, it's not out of the norm of what the participants have done on previous seasons of Alone. So he decides that he's going to go string his bow and go on a hunt for boar. He needs the protein. And I thought that was very smart. And he's having a difficult time stringing the bow. He can't get it. He's lost too much muscle and he's getting frustrated. Who wouldn't be? I mean, you're skin and bones and you're sitting here trying to string your bow to make this situation better and you can't. You don't have the strength to do it. Remember I said your body will cannibalize fat, then it'll cannibalize muscle. The third step is vital organs, and when it starts into vital organs, that's when you start looking at death. So he's lost muscle. I'd be frustrated too. Then an annotation comes on the screen and it says Dave uses a traditional bow with a draw weight of 60 pounds. Physical symptoms of starvation include muscle weakness and fatigue. And he's getting upset because he can't get this thing strung. And he says, and I'm quoting him again, he says, if I can't string my bow, hunting is out. And when he said that, his demeanor just kind of melted right in front of my eyes. And I noticed his shelter again, and I like his shelter. He's got like a ridge pole with A-frame type poles, and he's got his tarp. Very nice, solid, good-looking shelter. Let's move forward on the show. So we're on day 67, and 10 o'clock in the morning, 5 people left, and we're talking about Dave still. Shows him sitting in his sleeping bag, and he's talking about how he wishes he could work out to build his muscles, but I don't have the energy. And then the shot goes back to day 49 when he's in his shelter. And I noticed 3 things that were significant to notice as a survivalist. First thing I noticed, he has a tea kettle, which I mentioned earlier. And the second thing I might have noticed I might have mentioned rather in a previous episode, but he's got a grate over his fire pit. And the third thing I noticed was he had a coffee can. And I'm thinking these are all great items in a survival scenario. So where are these things? You know, he talks about saving food and smoking fish to store it. And that's extremely smart. And he says, and I'm quoting him here, he says, I've got 33 halves of fish fillets for stew. That's 33 days of food. If I can make that go every other day with 33 fish, that's 2 more months that I can be out here. And then an annotation comes on the screen and it says Dave's plan would give him approximately 200 calories every 2 days. So 100 calories a day? Talk about a calorie deficit. That's crazy. And then he says, but I want to be healthy, and that's a lot of food. So it puts this question mark in my mind about Dave. Is he eating this fish? Did he go on a binge and pig out? Who knows? We don't know. Let's move forward. Day 67. It's 1:44 in the afternoon. We're talking about Carly. 5 people left. She's sitting with her back up against a tree. It's kind of a side shot. You know, the camera's like right, it's actually on her, over her left shoulder, I think. Camera's over here shining on her. And in the background over here, you can see that she had like her action camera, GoPro for the lack of a better description. Camera's in the background filming. Little red lights going on. And she looks cold, but she really looks at peace. Calm as usual. And then she sees some geese on an island eating on bulrush. She says, it would be really awesome if I could catch a geese. And then an annotation comes on the screen and it says 3 ounces of wild goose meat will provide more than 20 grams of protein. She says maybe they'll come over here, kind of jokingly almost, like they'll leave the island and come close to her. I thought that was cute. And then she said in preparation for the geese coming back, she's going to make 2 bolas. Annotation again, it says bola is a type of throwing weapon most famously used by the, hope I'm saying this right, Gauchos, Gauchos, which are Argentina's cowboys, I guess. And my thoughts were, the idea of the bola was to tangle the birds so they can't take off. And she said the same thing. Just about the time I was thinking that, the geese did come over. They're on her side now. So she's going to sneak down there and try to catch one. Now when it comes to the bolas, it's like multiple pieces of string hanging down. They're all tied together on the top, and each one has like a rock tied to the bottom. So when you throw it, it kind of spreads out like a spider web. That's what it looks like. So let's move forward. We're still on day 67. We're still talking about Carly, but we're at a little bit after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 5 people left. And so she's nervous because she's trying to get this huge food opportunity. And she said that she didn't get within sight of them and they spooked, took off. She said getting protein has become quite a challenge and quite a struggle. And then an annotation comes on the screen and it says, without protein, the body will break down muscle tissue to get the amino acids it needs for energy. I mentioned that earlier. Let's move forward. Day 68. 9:36 in the morning. Megan. 5 people left. She had a good night's sleep. The fox has not been around for a couple of days. She had dreams of spending time with her family. Today's her son's 6th birthday, and she misses him a lot, her family. Breaks her heart. She's checking the fish traps and nothing. She needs protein. She decides to make a bird trap. She misses her kids, her husband, and being out there alone reminds her of how good she has it, she says. She's been keeping herself busy to not dwell on the fact that she's missing her son's birthday. And this is the first time she's missed one, she said. Annotation again on the screen. It says, this is an Arapuca bird trap, which was first used by the indigenous people of South America. Her trap's cool, and it looks much different than the types of traps, bird traps that I make, but it's still cool nonetheless. The one that I made was, the one I use most commonly is the same type that Fowler used in the last episode. And hers is a little different because she took like 4 vertical sticks and then lashed horizontals to them, and it's cool. Turned out good. So she goes and sets the trap. Let's move forward. Day 68. We're talking about Fowler. It's 8:15 at night. 5 people left. He's making a wizard staff. Dude, this was cool. It's like a walking stick, and for every memory, he put a little carving in it. And he says making things makes him happy and it keeps him from getting bored. He's staying busy, and getting bored triggers a thought in my mind right now. I don't even have this written on my notes, but getting bored, meaning like if you watch the movie Castaway and he had that soccer ball and he called it Wilson, and Dave's doing that with cameras, by the way. And I noticed that Fowler is such a good woodworker. I mean, I love his shelter. He's got probably the best shelter out there, honestly, because he's got insulated walls, and I mean, it's cool. It looks very warm inside, and he's missing his family. Day 69, 11:37, and we're talking about Megan. 5 people left. She's going to go check her box, and it's down, but there's nothing in it, and the bait's gone. Something got the bait and got away, and she's going to fix it. And so she goes to check her rabbit snares and her fox snares. She said it's not as fun out here anymore as it used to be. She's low on energy. It's cold. Starvation set in, and she's starting to see some rabbit fur around her snares. So it's apparent that she's caught something, but it got away, and that's frustrating for her. It's kind of demoralizing. And there's an annotation on the screen that says deer, wild boar, rabbits, and hares. Hares are another breed of rabbit, for the lack of a better description, were originally brought to Patagonia from Europe. And she mentioned that she had the rabbit in her snare, but he got away. Moving forward, day 70, we have broke a new record, obviously, because last season was 66 days. We've actually broke that a couple days ago. So 70, think about that, 70 days. That's a long time to be out in the elements like that. 14:45, so it's a little after 2:45 in the afternoon. Callie, 5 people left. She's sitting on her chair on the beach fishing. She got a fish. I got super excited for her, and she gets a rock and kills the fish instantly. Real smart. And there's an annotation that says this is a rainbow trout, which is not native to the area. They were introduced for recreational fishing in the early 20th century. Well, if you think about the 20th century, that's from, what is that, January 1st, 1901 to December 31st, 2000, if I remember correctly. Wow, so she's happy. She yells, "Thank you! Thank you!" She's so happy. And I'm happy for her. I love watching the participants succeed. Makes me happy. The fish has lots of eggs in it, so it was a mama. And then there's another annotation on the screen. It says a 1-pound trout or hen typically carries around 800 to 900 eggs. 800 to 900 eggs. And so I'm thinking, man, she's going to have a great meal. And then she kind of shows what's on the menu. Trout, mushrooms, dandelions. And the thing about dandelions is they're kind of a bitter taste. So what I like to do personally is I like to boil them and try to choke down the water and then eat the leaves. The leaves, the water gives you a bunch of nutrients, and the leaves, they're a lot more palatable when you boil them. There's a annotation on the screen. It says dandelion greens contain twice as much iron as spinach. Maybe that's why they're bitter. Now, I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but when it comes to dandelions, you can eat any part of the you can eat the flowers, you can eat the leaves, the stem, the root, all that stuff. So, I'm quoting her now. She says, "I love a good feast from the land. The land has been so good to me here, giving me food, giving me medicine. The last couple of days have given me such a reflection on this journey. I think I came into this with way too much competitive nature, and I put a lot of pressure on myself that I didn't even realize I had to win, to buy my land. And I think my body took a lot of that stress. And suddenly, when I let that go, it gave me this profound release, and I'm starting to feel my call home." So she's singing, and this next scene was very beautiful. You hear her singing, "Patagonia, been calling me back to my home." And then the show shows day 70 with Dave, and he's in his shelter with his headlamp on, carving something with his Woodmora knife. And then you can still hear her singing, and it goes into Megan. It's kind of showing what everybody's doing. She's laying in her bed, and it looks like she's in such deep thought. Then it shows Fowler. He's kind of doing the same thing as Dave. He's in his shelter, headlamp, and he's working on his wizard stick, carving away. And then it shows Carly, and you can still hear Callie singing. Beautiful voice, by the way, she has. And so Carly's sitting in her shelter next to the fire, nice and warm, and it looks like she as well is in deep thought. Today 71, we're going 9:47 in the morning to Megan. She's talking about it's a constant struggle to get food out here, problems with fishing, problems with snares and traps. This is tough. She found out that a gill net isn't very effective on this lake. So she decided to make it. She cut up her gill net to make a dip net. Annotation comes on the screen, and it says a dip net is a small fishing net with a handle. And I think she decided to do this after day 4. She fell in the water on day 3, and it shows this on the show. She was trying to set her, on day 3, she was trying to set her gill net and fell down in the water. So she goes to check her fishing lines, and she's going to try to use her dip net because she's caught a fish, and she's going to try, I got funny there for a minute. She goes to check her fishing lines, and she's got a fish, so she's going to use her dip net to try to get the fish. So she takes her boots off, rolls her pants up to her knees, and walks out in the water to get the fish. She said the water's cold, and she definitely does not want to fall in and get wet. Annotation on the screen says that the current water temperature was 44 degrees Fahrenheit. She got the fish in her net, and she's so happy. And then she says there will be hurdles and challenges, but nothing worthwhile comes easy in life. So that's cool. Let's move forward. Day 71, 11:53. We're talking about Fowler. There's 5 people left. He decides to go firewood cutting. He said he's missing home, and the more he tries to not think about them, the more he does. And he's got a beautiful shot. He's cutting a large log, cutting this thing down. It looks like it's maybe 10 or 12 inches in diameter. It's a big log, and he's cutting it into sections. And then the next shot shows him back at his camp, and he's very emotional. He's having a rough time right now. He misses his wife. his 2 daughters. He misses them all dearly. And he had to, the show kind of goes back to when the insertion happened, so to speak, when he had to catch his flight to the airport. When they were on the way with his family, the car broke down and he had to hitch a ride to get to the airport on time, and he left his wife and kids unfortunately stranded on the side of the road. And that would be hard. That'd be hard for someone to live knowing that that's how things unfolded in the beginning. That'd be tough. Let's move forward. Day 72, 9:32 in the morning, Cali, 5 people left. You can hear the sounds of a radio, like little beeps and stuff, and it shows Cali. So I'm officially tapping out. Thanks. Okay, bye. And then she looks at the camera and she says, well, that's it. That was easy. Crazy? Whoa. I thought she was joking. She wasn't joking, folks. She's looking around at the land and she's just enjoying this majestic beauty of Patagonia, and then begins to cry. She's tore up. And then the boat comes. She has her arms wide out, like reaching out for the boat. And she's smiling, and a woman's voice asks her, how does it feel? And she says, and I'm quoting her here, she says, it feels so mixed emotions. Yeah, but it feels great. I kind of decided yesterday. I didn't want to leave on any other terms but feeling complete in the journey. And I do. From the beginning, I saw this experience as an opportunity to buy land and have this outcome of me winning. And at a certain point, I saw that I was holding too tightly to this material goal. But when we hold so tightly to something, we don't allow other things to come in. I had to shed that. And when I did, I realized that it doesn't matter what the outcome to any situation is. It's about being in the moment. It's about the journey and finding a deeper sense of my own voice, finding a deeper sense of my own self-worth. And by being out here for so long, truly on your own, you develop this relationship with yourself that is so profound, and I communicate with myself in a way that I never thought possible. I only can imagine how this is going to serve me in the rest of my life. Wow. And the show ends at that. She said something that I said a lot. I've been saying this a lot. It was in my official casting video. If you haven't seen that, I talk about this, and she said the exact same thing I put in my video. She said it's about the journey, not the destination. The destination being the money. The journey is what you need to enjoy, not the destination. So then there's 4 people left, and there's little glimpses of each one. Kind of gives us a glimpse of what could come in the next episode. And it shows Megan. She catches a little big fish. Shows Fowler. Catches a fish and loses it. Carly getting thin. And she says, I'm living each day as if it could be my last. That makes me wonder. And then it shows Dave. It's amazing how breathing is so difficult when you don't have a lot of calories. And he falls. So by that little glimpse, it kind of leads me to believe that Megan, of the 4 that are left, is in the best state, meaning she could win. And I don't mean that to discredit any of the participants, you know, Fowler or Carly or Dave. You know, and I just mean that at this moment, she's shining. You know, I could see any of the 4 winning. And to be honest with you, Carly and Dave were in my top 4 picks, and here they are in the top 4. Fowler was close to those top 4. Megan, I didn't expect her to go this far. I thought she would quit early. And that brings me back to Callie before I close out this episode. And my thought on Callie is, she had made a comment. She said, Patagonia, you know, you get to go out there and survive, and then, you know, the winner's a badass or something like that. And, you know, you get some bragging rights or something to that effect. And the winner's a badass. I remember that part of it. In my opinion, anyone that goes on the show makes the cut to get there is a badass. You know, and for her to do 72 days, that's amazing. You know, that's definitely a life-changing experience, and that's something that she can definitely put in her little book of life as one of her chapters, kind of like Fowler's wizard stick. You know, that's one of her little things that she went through, and I give mad respect to all of the participants on this show. You know, let's not forget, like I mentioned earlier, that these people, you know, if you step outside your house and it's chilly out there, even in Arizona, it's cold right now. You know, and I step outside and I can't wait to get back in the house in the warmth, you know, away from convection, away from conduction, away from all these heat loss mechanisms. And these people have been out there facing these adversities of weather for 72 days. Give them some respect, please. When you're armchair quarterbacking out there, don't talk too loud until you put yourself out there. So again, folks, I want to say thank you for watching this journey, this episode on Season 3, Episode 8 of Alone. I'm hoping that it's not too long-winded. Sometimes I get carried away because I'm really passionate about this show. I hope you got some good, useful information out of this video. Please feel free, I ask you, please thumb up this video. Please thumb up this video. Please thumb up this video. Helps me a lot. And if you like the content that you see on my channel, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And until next time, thanks for watching. And I truly hope you guys have a beautiful day. Now, good luck to all the participants that are left on alone. And Callie, I hope you have safe travels home. Thanks for sharing your experience with us. You know, I think there's a lot of us that when we watch these competitors on the show, it's almost like becoming part of their family. You know, we fall in love with these people, these characters, because each one has their own personality that we fall in love with. So, you know, I mean, you think about Carly, and she's so calm, and she's so mellow, and so timid, but she's a badass. You know, Fowler, you give him a piece of wood, man, he's gonna make an airplane or something. You know, the dude's a stud. Dave, he cracks me up. He's always funny. Megan is so serious. She's not messing around. She's in it to win it. So anyway, that's enough. We'll talk at you next time. Hope you're enjoying the videos. Please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm trying to respond as much as I can, but my email blows up every day, and comment section is just crazy, but I read everything. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye. God bless it.